Welcome back, everybody, to the Me and Jesse podcast. My name is Mark Pavlich, away in the Grove, the big, sexy, the star of the show, back by popular demand.
That's right. And we'll be
Jesse
joined.
Martineau.
We'll be joined right
Martineau.
away in the main event of Unified, May 24th. Vlad. We'll be right back. Super Bad Vlad. It's going to join us right now on the Me and Jesse podcast. We'll be right back, everybody.
Get ready. It's time for the Me and Jesse podcast with Mark Pavlich and Jesse Martineau. Get ready. It's time for the Me and Jesse podcast with Mark Pavlich and Jesse.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Me and Jesse podcast. I am Mark Pavlich, away in the Grove, the big, sexy Jesse Martineau, and our special guest today, everybody. Watch out. Ladies and gentlemen, the best kept secret in boxing. 18-1, Vlad Super Bad Panin.
I like that introduction. Thank you for having me, guys.
I laid it in soft for you because I do believe that you're one of the best kept secrets in boxing right now. And the secret's going to be let out today. Don't you have enough of this, Vlad? Don't you understand at 18-1, the level that you're at right now, the one loss you had, I laughed at this, okay? The one loss that you had, that guy retired.
I retired him. I would love to address that. Because a lot of my friends, I'm humble. I take it, whatever. I make no excuses, but my friends are like, no, when you get up there, you got to let everyone know, like, that loss was bullshit. Like, that guy, I mean, he was a local guy. I was fighting locally in LA from a big popular gym, and it happened to be that gym, like, his trainer, who's a famous trainer. I don't want to mention him, but it happened to be his birthday that weekend.
Mention him, Vlad. Don't be like that on the Me and Jesse podcast.
No. I don't want to throw
his name. Just tell me quietly. No one watches our show. Don't worry. Just you can tell me.
But it was just a ton of politics, and the guy made it to the end of 6 rounds because we were still fighting 6-rounders back then.
Yep.
And, he made it to the end of 6, and I had, like, no doubt. I had no, like, concerns or anything. I was like, another win. And when they read the scorecards, and then they raised his hand, I was like so confused. And then, the matchmakers from ESPN and Top Rank were there, so they were like, "Oh, that's fine. We'll get you the rematch on TV. You'll get your vindication." So I was like, "Okay, cool." We tried to make the rematch like 3 or 4 separate times. Gave him, like, 5 times the most amount of money he's ever made, and he just continued to turn it down. He didn't want the fight. He didn't want the rematch, and I guess I beat him up bad enough to the point where he retired. So,
Jeez.
Time will always tell at the end, and since then I've won all my fights. I've been on a good little knockout streak, and the last fight I won my first belt, WBA Continental Champion. And with a fight like this, with a great name like this to put on my resume, hopefully, like, continue to get me up in the rankings, and just create more of a name for myself. And it was funny what you said, because I saw Andre Ward a couple months ago. He came to a gym that I train at, and I basically told him my situation as well. I was like, I'm at this point now. I'm 18-1. And, I just won this fight. I just knocked this guy out. And, it's hard because over the past year, I've been offered at least like 10 different fights, like B-side fights against undefeated guys. And I haven't turned down a single opponent. And I'm saying, it's like, I'm getting these opportunities, I'm getting these offers, but nobody's, like, willing to take them. And it's getting really frustrating. Like, what would you do in my position? And he's like, you got to start talking. You got to go on these podcasts. You got to go in this media and let people know, like, I am the best kept secret in boxing, and you got to talk. And then, soon people will start to look at you and be like, oh, who is this guy? And a lot of these top guys, they use me in their camps. I've sparred with Tank, I've sparred with Ryan Garcia, I've sparred with Canelo, Regis Prograis before he fought Devin Haney. And I've been in there with all the top guys, a lot of big names, and there's a reason, like, they call me and want to work with me for like the biggest fights of their career and stuff. So and Andre was saying that too. He's like, it's great that you're able to work with these guys, but like, don't be so available to them, because it's like,
Bingo.
you're not a sparring partner. They're using you,
Bingo. He's 100% right. And listen, there's only a few people in the world that understand what I understand when it comes to combative sports. I can say that out loud without being arrogant in any way. Most people in my country know this, right?
Yeah.
The funny part is, when I watched your tape and I showed your tape to my son, who also came up in this business, which not too many kids came up in the business he came up in. I showed him the video and he was like, oh shit. And I go, yeah, that's the sound. It's a sound, Vlad. It's not I don't even have to watch. I go in the gym all the time, and to this day, MMA gyms, boxing gyms, and the trainer goes, oh, what do you think of that guy, Mark? And I'm like, he's no good. And then he go, what do you think of that guy? I go, he's not going to go anywhere. What do you think of that guy? And I go, what did you see in him differently? I said, the difference was the first 6 guys you showed me, when they got punched in the face, they stepped to the side or they stepped backwards. This kid over here stepped forward. Okay. When you punched him in the face, you can teach him the rest of the stuff after. The sound that you make on the bag is that same thing. It's like a different sound. It's not. In fact, it's a Canelo sound.
Yeah,
it's a Canelo sound.
Yeah,
and that's the difference.
Yeah.
Listen,
there's a density. There's a weight to the shot. Yeah.
Density, thank you. And that's what most people don't understand. When other people saw it, they're like, oh shit. I sent it to my son, he messaged me back right away. He's like, oh shit, Dad. I'm like, yes, correct. That's all I gotta say. There is no A side or B side at Unified Boxing. I don't manage or train anybody on the fight cards. But when I saw your stuff, I was like, okay, he's white. You're Mediterranean. We'll say you're Mediterranean, okay? But you're white. You're 18-1, and if you don't talk soon, and now you're fighting Devin Alexander May 24th live on UFC Fight Pass at Unified Boxing, which I happen to be one of the owners of. Yeah. That if you don't want to talk now, shame on you, man. It's on you. It's on you now. This is your stage. This is it. If you I'm going to do my talking in the ring. You know what? No one gives a shit about that. They just don't.
Yeah.
They don't.
Yeah. No, I totally agree. I try to be, humble and soft-spoken for as long as I could, but that doesn't seem to get people the opportunity, the viewership, the eyes. And you look at guys that, aren't even the most skilled, like Rolly, but the guy has a mouthpiece, the guy can talk and sell, and he jumps the line and gets a fight with Tank, and then
like that,
his next fight, he wins a title at 140, and then he fights Isaac Cruz, and it's like to continuously be in these like big fights, there's something to that, because for not having all the amateur experience, for not having all this, just the fact that like you can talk yourself into these positions and like make these kind of paydays, it says a lot.
But what about that though? You can talk, but how about you be this guy? You be the guy that can talk, but you don't have to be arrogant. You don't have to be, you can make up your own character, whoever you want to be. But then when you get to the point of actually backing it up all the time, and you're Mediterranean / white, okay, that goes a long way in boxing. I mean, a very, very long way, especially with the sounds you know how to make.
There's not a lot of skilled white boys in boxing, that's for sure.
There is not. Okay, we can say that on this show, all three of us being white. But let's be honest. You don't think the corporate world wants a white? Like, listen, this is not reverse. This isn't reverse racism today. It's a fact. You don't think that corporate boxing doesn't want a white champion? Oh my God.
I mean, it's funny because you ask a lot of kids nowadays who their favorite boxer is, and they say Jake Paul.
Jake Paul,
who isn't even like, if you ask anyone in the boxing world, no one's gonna say Jake Paul.
No.
But you ask kids, you ask someone that doesn't know anything, they might say like, "Oh yeah, Jake Paul," and it's so interesting because it's like he hasn't really fought any boxers. He's fought guys from MMA or the one boxer he fought, Tommy Fury, he lost. But same thing, his marketing appeal, his skill is more so like not in the ring. I'm not saying he's not gotten better and improved as a boxer,
Sure.
but he's got a great eye and sense for marketing and for what's going to go viral, this and that. And him and Logan, him and his brother are both really good at that. They're kind of like on the forefront of a lot of these waves. Like when YouTube came around, they were at the forefront of that. And then when crypto and NFTs came, they were at the forefront of that. They jumped on that, and YouTube boxing and all these things. So you can always learn something from everyone. And at this point, I got to just put all my tools and my resources together and, just do what I can to get these bigger fights. But, May 24th is an amazing opportunity. It's my biggest fight to date. It's my biggest name to date. And, if I could do something that no one else has done and create like a highlight reel type of knockout, then that's going to say something, and that's going to put more eyeballs on me.
The talking thing we've talked to a lot of fighters about, and some guys are on the fence about talking. But it's a different world today. Like, it's you still have to be able to back it up. There's no question.
Yeah.
But do you have to back it up as much because you can talk too? And that's what I think. So, you say the best kept secret. Do you really count it up to all? The only thing being that you're not talking as much?
Not just that. I think the boxing world is kind of like they've chosen to kind of go around me instead of fighting me, and I've had offers to fight on, Showtime and PBC and Jake Paul's undercard and this and that. And, opportunities and cards that like would definitely like put me in a limelight. But seems like every time I get an offer like that, the other side is like, that's not really the guy that I want to fight. If I'm also trying to be on a network and showcase my skills, because I'm not a showcase fight for anyone. I don't care if it's Terrence Crawford. I don't care who it is. Anyone in my weight class, like they're going to have to like go through a fire, whether you have more experience than me, whether you're stronger, whatever it is. It's like I'm not going to lay down for anyone, and I don't have to bang it out. I also have a skill set to where, if I want to just use my length and my jab for 12 rounds and, play it safe and be Shakur, I think I have that type of ability to control range and completely neutralize a fighter and negate anything they do. But at the same time, I understand that to be a star, you need to be exciting, you need to be explosive, and you need to create knockouts. And I've picked up all these different things and skill sets, like from different boxers, and how to box, and then how to fight on the inside, how to be rough, and like I'm trying to be like a big, tall, like I want to be like the David Benavidez of the welterweight division. You see a big guy who I'm a 6 foot tall welterweight, and I'm not skinny and fragile. Like I'm willing to fight you on the inside. I'm willing to sit there and catch and shoot and bang with guys, and it's really rare you see like a 6 foot tall Russian welterweight who throws 100 punches around until it's like I can grind it out until.
So you mentioned Benavidez earlier, and when I saw the Canelo fight, and then I saw Benavidez in the crowd, and he was talking to him like about fighting, and then they asked him like, oh, like, would you like to do that fight one day? And the first thing he said was 150 million.
Yeah.
And you know what's funny? What's funny about that? Because you look at Benavidez, he looks gigantic next to Canelo. He looks like he's on another planet. And I think Benavidez beats Canelo, and I don't think it's that hard. I honestly believe that. And it's hard, and a lot of people think, oh, that's crazy because it's Canelo. I think Canelo's got to the point now where it's like, even after watching this fight, it ended up going the distance, right?
Yeah.
So that's a true indication. I think Benavidez will it'll be like Roy Jones Jr. when Roy was at the peak of his career and then he crossed over and got humiliated when he shouldn't have done those things.
Yeah.
That's the same thing that'll happen to Canelo here, right? So
Yeah.
so when I look at your career, right, I went through it forwards and backwards, and now you have the biggest fight of your life coming May 24th live from the River Cree Resort and Casino, live on UFC Fight Pass. I think that the number one problem with 99.9% of the fighters, including yourself, is you still don't have the ability to sell a fight. This is what I learned when I owned the MFC, the biggest MMA show in Canada, as Jesse knows, for 16 years. And my business partner was Mark Cuban. Mark Cuban flew to my city to sign the deal because he said, Mark, you know how to create a fight. You know how to sell a fight. You know how to be in a fight. You know how to, and also I didn't do it all the time in an arrogant way. I did it in my character. See, Vlad Panin is Vlad. You should be that person. That's when that's with your family. That's when you're Vlad Super Bad is a different character.
Yeah.
My wife said to me the best advice I've ever got 20 something years ago. She said, Mark, we're going to make a ton of money in this MMA business if you get up on the soapbox and be the other person. When you get off the soapbox, go back to being Mark Pavlich, not Mark Pavlich, the promoter, which I did.
Yeah.
We would go to dinner and people would think I was going to be that person. And then when I was sitting there not speaking to anybody, like, what's wrong with this guy, man? Like, how come he doesn't go crazy and say crazy things? But Mark Cuban flew to my city to sign the biggest TV deal in MMA history in our country.
Wow.
Because he said I was a lunatic, like he saw the craziness in me when I was talking about MMA. But when I wasn't talking about MMA, I was very normal. Go to church on Sundays. People in church were expecting me some lunatic. They saw me sitting there in church. They're like, "Who is this guy?" What I'm trying to tell you, Vlad, the best advice I ever got was from my wife, and I'm giving you the same advice today. You don't have to take it, but we're gonna have this conversation next time again.
Yeah.
This is where Super Bad has to become a character. Whatever you decide it to be, you go do it. You decide. I believe you're the educated one here. Am I correct? You have an education, right? One of the few people in boxing that actually has an education. And it's time that at 18-1, you figure this out, because I do believe you're the best kept secret in boxing. And I do believe that you can take this thing to a whole new, like one day you're going to say, oh, I remember we had that conversation with Mark. Yeah, I fought on his show in Edmonton. That was great, you know, but you're going to be somewhere else in the world fighting on some stage, you know, in front of 30,000 people on pay-per-view. And then I'm going to call you. You're going to be like, oh, you have to make an appointment with Vlad. He'll get back to you. And I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that.
Yeah, thank you. And thank you for believing in me, because
I do.
I think the same things, you know. I think, you know, you see a guy like me who's marketable, who, you know, went to school and this and that, and has, you know, a network of people in LA that are also successful and stuff, that, and who's skilled and, you know, looks the part. And I wonder, like, why is it so hard to get a damn big fight, you know? And it's like, you know, I don't know what their excuse is, if I'm too tough or I'm too this or I'm too that. But at the end of the day, all I know is guys just don't want to get in the ring with me. So,
yes.
You know, like you said, I have to sell the fight to the point where it's financially at least incentivizing enough for them to say, all right, well, you know, just give me the cash. I'll take my chances or whatever, you know?
Yes, that's right.
Because it's getting harder and harder to get opponents. I mean, like, the price goes up and up and up of, you know, how much they're willing to fight me for. And, you know, unless you have a promoter who's just, you know, like, backing you and putting the money up, it's, you know, it's hard to move around, because it's like, I'm willing to say, like, hey, I'll fight anyone. I'll be the opponent. I'll be the B-side. I don't care. I just want to fight, you know, because I know at the end of the day, when it's 1 versus 1, you know, nobody else can fight for that guy. I don't care if...
That's right. Once it's on.
Yeah, I don't care if you're the A side. I don't care if the judges are, you know, like, biased towards you, because, you know, especially now, if I have 10 rounds, if I have 12 rounds, that's enough time to, you know, you give me someone for 30 minutes I would be surprised that most guys make it past 4 or 5 rounds.
Yeah.
I mean, 15 minutes is enough to break a guy down.
Yes.
I mean, you put something in a microwave for 3 minutes, it's gonna get really hot. So
that's a good one.
It's a lot
Write
of time.
that one down.
It's plenty of time. I mean, 10 rounds, 30 minutes. I don't see it going the distance.
So you see the pressure is on you now for this fight, May 24th.
Yeah.
Like it is like if you go the distance with Devin Alexander, I would believe it's a catastrophic failure, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Because you're the as you notice in this fight, there is no A side and there is no B side. So nobody owns a financial interest in anybody. That's when I first started with boxing promotion, I said, guys, we're going to be the first show ever where there's no A side or B side. And that's going to that way when I stand up, whoever knocks out anybody and I stand up and start cheering, I'm cheering for the knockout. I'm not cheering for the person. I'm cheering that the crowd is going crazy. So when you have an A side and B side, Eddie Hearn can't fake that. The rest of the people can't fake that. Their guy, if they get whacked, you could see them at ringside. They're just like, oh shit. You know what I mean? Devin Haney, shit. Oh my God. I can't believe that happened. Me, I don't care. And I made sure of it. I've had 100 people ask me to manage them since I said I was going into boxing. And I said, no, I'm going to have too much fun sitting ringside drinking 1942 tequila, watching the fight.
Yeah. And that is like the most fun way to enjoy a fight, when you don't have a bone to pick.
Yeah, exactly.
Correct.
Enjoying the fights.
That's right.
Absolutely.
What's your game plan? What's your game plan for this fight?
Well, I can't tell you everything, but I mean,
no, don't tell us everything. Give us the.
I mean, I'm just gonna use my youth, my size, my speed, my skills, and push the pace on him and force him to fight at a pace that he's not comfortable at fighting at 35 or 37 years old. And we'll see if he can keep up, and if he can't, then we're gonna run him out of the ring. So it's on him.
Yeah, I agree with that one. So coming into this fight, how do you feel right now?
I feel great. I feel strong.
How's camp been?
Camp's been great. We're ahead of schedule. We've been ahead of schedule. I mean, 8 weeks before the fight, I did 16 rounds straight. My coach brought in 2 guys. He actually double booked me. I was supposed to go 8 rounds with this guy, and then another guy came and he wanted to do 8 rounds. So my coach was like, all right, you'll just spar both. You'll do 8 with this guy, then 8 with this guy. And I did 16 8 weeks out from the fight. So
Jesus.
I've never had this much time to prepare for a fight, let alone, normally I'm taking fights on 3 weeks notice, 4 weeks notice, 5 weeks notice sometimes. But to have a full camp like this and just to have the time that I've had to really zero in and lock in on my opponent, and to have also so much footage of a guy that I'm fighting.
Yes. Yeah.
So many fights. I mean, I've watched all of his fights from his prime days where he was able to go toe to toe for 12 rounds. We'll see if he's able to still do that. I mean, I'm counting out. I'm not counting anybody out. I'm preparing for the best version of Devin Alexander. He's had a little bit of time off. Maybe it could have rejuvenated him. Who knows? I'm sure he still stays in good shape, and the time off could have helped him, freshen up his body, and maybe now he's fresh and he's ready to go a hard 10 rounds. If that's the case, I'm ready. If it ends early, I'm ready. If I catch him with something early, or if I have to break him down round by round, and just
tell us what you really think. Tell us what you really think. What are you gonna do to him? You got to start talking. This is it. Tell us what you're thinking.
Jesse, do it, baby. Come on, Jesse, you show it. Tell him what it's all about. Jesse,
I think I'm gonna dismantle him. I think even at his prime, I think he's always had problems with guys like me, and I feel like I'm hitting the prime of my career now, and I'm gonna show that there's levels to this, and that I am at the highest level, and that I am the best kept secret in boxing. I truly believe that. And
Am I the first person to ever say that out loud?
Besides me?
No, am I the
think
first person to say, wait a second, I got to get this on record. You know that I was the first person to say, don't leave it to the judges in MMA. And then Dana White stole it and told everybody he said it, which is 100% bullshit. I said it first. And I just want to know, did I say you're the best kept secret in boxing? Am I the first out loud besides you?
You might have been. I mean, Andre Ward was saying that, like, you know, that.
But he said that between you two. He didn't say that in public.
No. Yeah. Yeah. In public. Yeah. Yeah. You're the first to say that.
I got it on record now. See, there wasn't there wasn't YouTube back in the day because I get no respect. I'm like the Rodney Dangerfield of the combative sports world. You know, it's like I get no respect.
Yeah. A couple of years from now, we'll say, pull up the receipts.
That's right. See, that's what I'm talking about. That's what you got to say. You got to start saying shit like this because that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
just run that kind of stuff because you have a subtlety to your comments that I think will be funny when people are paying attention.
Well, it's border serial.
It's some of my friends are like, some of my friends are the biggest comedians in the world. So, you know, hanging around them, it's like you have to be quick on your feet or otherwise you're just gonna get roasted.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I mean, I've never been one to shy away from confrontation or talking because you know, if someone's willing to talk shit, I'm willing to talk back. You know, I haven't really been the one to start it, but I also I can't wait till the day that I have these big press conferences and stuff because I'm gonna have so much fun with them.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking forward to too because that's what we watch. We watch that kind of stuff. We watch the press conference because there is those comments. Like, why else do you watch it? We don't care about giving 110%. We care about what you're going to say about the other guy.
Yeah,
that's right.
And like Mark said, I mean, it's entertainment, and you have to be able to sell a fight. I mean, I don't think Conor McGregor would have ever been able to have a fight with Floyd and make $200 million in one night if he wasn't as big as he was in MMA. You know, I mean, you see MMA guys call out boxers all the time, but it's like, unless there's really that appeal of like, oh, you know, this guy, he talks the talk and he backs it up. And whatever he says, we believe him, you know? So now we have to see if he can actually do this against this guy.
But did you see Conor when he started? He wasn't arrogant. He wasn't brash. He was excited. He was happy. And people were like, oh, this guy's cool, man. Look, he's happy. He's always like, "Lo, what's up?" He's got a ton of energy. People gravitated towards that. When he got to a certain level, then he started to raise the way. Look at when you see people in Major League Baseball, NBA basketball, NHL hockey imitating his walk. You got to think to yourself, Major League Baseball players are doing his walk. You got guys in the NFL doing his walk.
Yeah,
like, you understand that's not shit talk. That's a cultural shift.
Oh yeah,
yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah, that's So what I'm saying is you're the intellect here on this panel tonight. So you start using that intellect of yours to elevate you to the next level.
Yeah. And that's what we're here to do.
Yes, because this is great, but this is going to help you more for cha-ching.
When are you at your best? When are you at your best? When do you feel your best? And not just talking physically, I'm talking like mentally too. What is it that gets you there?
I don't know. I mean, before every fight, the closer it gets to the fight, mentally, I really lock in, and you know, I start to really feel like it's game time, and you know, it's like that time to go. And
are you envisioning what's going to happen? Are you like going through like game plans? How do you envision that?
Oh yeah, visualization is huge. I mean, I've actually visualized like verbatim, like picture for picture, like exact knockouts that I'm gonna have. It's actually kind of freaky. There was one fight where I was fighting this guy. He only had a couple losses, and one of them was a 10-round decision to Charles Conwell, who was an Olympian. And he went the distance with this guy, you know, on some cards, won like 3-4 rounds. And, you know, he had a competitive back and forth fight with this guy. And this guy was from Brooklyn, New York, you know, slick boxer, naturally bigger than me. And so he had never been knocked out before, and he had fought an Olympian. And I just knew, I just remember visualizing, I was like, I don't care where I hit him, but I'm going to hit him so hard that he's not going to want to get up. And I remember like seeing that I was gonna hit him with a hook, and he was gonna be on the ropes, and I had this visual of me hitting him and him falling under the ropes, and that I was like stepping over him as he was going down. And I mean, I could send you guys a video that's like literally exactly what happened.
Jeez, that's awesome.
It was crazy. But yeah, I think when you have that type of clarity in your vision and your goals, and you can see it and you can feel exactly how it's going to feel. And even my last fight, I knew I was going to win the belt, and I knew like during like the interview, like I was going to get emotional because it was I had to deal with a lot of like personal stuff in my family life during camp, and it wasn't like the best camp that I had because like it was so emotional, you know. And I just knew like those last couple of weeks, like leading up to the fight, like I was just like building steam and building momentum, and um, made weight super easy. I still had energy, like even at like down at like 147 pounds, you know, and I was still pushing it like a day, 2 days before the fight, and like it's just like when your energy is coming from a different source, that's where like it doesn't matter how many punches you throw. Like it's like, you know, that's why I like to watch guys like David Benavidez, because you could tell he really wants it, you know. And like when you fucking want it, it doesn't matter. Like your energy is kind of like limitless. It's coming from another source, you know. You say you go to church, it's like, you know, God working through you. And I you know, I have these visions. I see these things, and you know, that's when I really feel confident in the fight, because you know, we all have doubts, we all have like these little like thoughts creep in, but it's like if you're like, no, this is what's gonna happen,
Yeah.
this is what I see, and no matter what, you know, whatever shot he hits me with, it's not gonna be enough. You know, these are decisions that you have to make mentally before the fight. You know, like Andre Ward says, um, taking a punch sometimes it's mental, it's not just physical.
That's right.
Yeah,
You know?
absolutely.
And if you just bite down and know, like, no matter what, like, it's not going to be enough, you know, you're not going to, you're not going to be able to like stop me from coming over and over, you know? So, um, yeah, no, I feel good physically. I'm as ready as can be. Still got a few weeks left to, you know, zero in, and, you know, super sharp mentally, physically. I'm just ready to make a statement.
Before we cut out, Vlad, who's your favorite boxer of all time?
Of all time?
All time. Mount Rushmore. Mount Rushmore of boxing. Who are they?
Sugar Ray Robinson, Roberto Duran,
Ooh.
Muhammad Ali.
Wow.
Just spiritually, culturally, what he did, you know,
Yes, I agree.
is like
I agree.
a lot of guys nowadays, they want to be rich like Floyd Mayweather. You know, I want to make a cultural, like spiritual impact like Muhammad Ali did.
Yeah, I totally agree.
That to me is like,
Yeah.
I mean, you know, no champion nowadays is going to land in Africa and be greeted by like, you know,
Never
hundreds
happened.
of thousands of
Never
like
happened.
fans. I mean, the love, the adoration that people had for him, you
Unbelievable.
know, it's like, you know, unmatched.
Mm.
But those three, and then I guess skill wise, just Floyd, the way, you know, he was just able to like neutralize guys and pick guys apart. My top four. I don't know if I'm missing someone. I mean, I love Roy Jones too. You
Yeah.
know, those would be my top five. But I also love watching Mexicans like Julio Cesar Chavez. You know,
Oh yeah. Yeah.
because there's so much to learn from everyone. You know, you don't
Yes.
have
Yeah.
to fight exactly like someone to be able to pick up little wrinkles from them.
Correct.
Absolutely.
And that's another thing that I'm blessed to be around is so many quality fighters in my gym. I mean, Tengus in Los Angeles, anytime, you know, these Olympians, these Russians, these Cubans, these guys from all over come, Los Angeles is like a hot spot. It's the best of the best. It's a melting pot of cultures, of talents.
Crazy.
You know, Los Angeles, you have the best actors, the best food, you have the best doctors, the best
It's true.
lawyers, and it's the same with boxing. You know, you got guys that come from the East or the Midwest that are slick boxers. You have the Mexicans that, you know, you have to learn how to deal with that kind of pressure. That's why a lot of the guys from the UK that are signed to Matchroom and Eddie Hearn, they've been holding camp out here because they've been noticing like they've been losing to Mexican guys.
Interesting.
Because, you know, unless you're used to fighting that type of pressure, it's a lot to deal with. You know,
Correct. Yeah.
So yeah, we have one guy that's been helping me get ready for this fight is a Mongolian kid named Sendi that is a 3-time Olympian, and he trains with us. And he was actually the guy that broke Ryan Garcia's rib before his fight with Tank.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So, you know, he's a great left-handed guy, 2-time now 3-time Olympian. He's going back to the Olympics, and his only losses are like to Shakur and like the guy that won the gold. You know? And then we have another Ukrainian Olympian heavyweight. We've had a lot of Cubans come and do camp at our gym, and just we have so much talent around the gym, you know, just to like, even after you're done training, to stay and watch the sparring of the things you'll learn and pick up. It's
awesome.
There's so much to gain from that. So
what's the name of the gym, Vlad?
Ten Goose Boxing. Yeah.
Goose.
It's Joe Gooson's gym, and yeah. So yeah, we have a lot of talent, and you know, we go spar at other gyms around town too. And awesome. Yeah, I'm ready.
Well, tune in, everybody. May 24th, live from the River Cree Resort and Casino in the main event. Vlad Super Bad. He's bringing that super bad part, everybody. Live on UFC Fight Pass, and get your tickets at ticketmaster.ca. It's almost sold out. So,
all right, let's sell it out.
That's right. Well, thanks so much for joining us, Vlad. And we'll see you on May 24th.
All right. Thank you, guys. Thank you for having me.
No problem. We'll see you later.
See you, Vlad. Vlad Panin, everybody. Yeah. Super Bad coming to Edmonton. That's right. May 24th, live from the River Cree Resort and Casino. Should be exciting.
Well, hey, I mean, I'm looking forward to that. Are you looking forward to that, Mark?
I am. I
can't tell. I can't quite tell how much looking forward to that you are.
I'm very excited, and it's great to be in the combative sports business again. And
you liking it?
I am. It's super addicting, and you know, you're picking fights with people all day. That's what it is. So it's like,
which, you know, again, you're putting on the the advice you just gave Vlad.
Yeah,
you're doing it.
Yes, sir. And I enjoy it, and I don't care if I'm fighting or I'm picking the fight or I'm promoting the fight. I don't care what it is. I love it all, and it's always been in my blood, and it's like a reincarnation for me being in the business again. And I implore people, it's like I said, go check the floor plan on Ticketmaster. You'll see it's ticketmaster.ca, push in Unified Boxing, and you'll see for yourself. This thing is 85% sold out right now, 3 weeks away from the fight.
That's awesome.
Yeah, awesome.
May 24th, River Cree Resort Casino. Well, you know, playoffs are going strong. NHL playoffs.
Oilers are through.
Oilers are through. They're playing the Canucks. Now, I'm going to go for the Canucks on this one.
But let's talk about the low-hanging fruit, my friend. 1967, all you scumball Toronto Maple Leaf fans.
Scumball.
My dad calls me, and literally the second that they lost, and he starts laughing on the phone. 90 years old, calling me, and we're laughing on the phone. I was at an event, and I put it on speakerphone because they wanted to hear the great Matt Pavlich, Hockey Hall of Fame, Matt Pavlich, laugh like a little school, laugh like a little schoolgirl. Me and him laughing together because the Pavlich curse is on.
It's still on.
Still on.
If you didn't know, everybody, Matt Pavlich, Mark's father, was on the ice the last time the Maple Leafs won the Stanley Cup in 1967. So it's called the Pavlich curse. They haven't won.
And I was born in 1967.
That's right. Yeah.
Yes,
so
which makes
you can't just bump off Matt. You got to get Mark too, and getting them both is going to be difficult.
Yes. And Matt lives in the cave, man. You can't get him. No. So But what I'm saying is, Leaf fans, I'm so happy once again. It's funny when they won the 2 games and game 7, I'm at this party and people are like, oh, the Leafs are going to win. I'm like, no, they're not. They're just not. And the people are like, how do you know? And I'm like, I would tell you, but they're going to lose, And then it went into overtime and people were nervous. And I'm like, guys, Toronto's not going to win. And you have to understand, these are people talking about it when it's still the first round.
Yeah,
this is the first round.
Yeah,
this isn't the second round, third round, whatever.
Well, do you want to hear a great stat? Is that the Maple Leafs have never made it past the second round.
Yes, correct.
They've never won a third round series because when they won the Stanley Cup, there was only 2 rounds.
That is correct.
Isn't that wild?
Jesse bringing out the stats today. Now, Jesse, have you heard any news yet from Toronto? Is the coach gone yet? Is Shanahan gone yet?
I think that the whole city of Toronto has pulled a big blanket over itself.
How about Shanahan? Is he gone?
I don't think so.
Yeah, because I haven't heard any news yet, and I'm looking at the ticker, and nothing's coming in. I'm like, what the hell's going on over there? Like they're going to keep.
But what do you do? You got the team on paper to do it.
Do they?
You even said a few weeks ago, like, "Hey, man, the Leafs are looking good," and
look good.
And you that took a lot for you to say.
Yeah.
So it's legit when you said it.
Yeah.
And they still can't pull it out. So yeah, okay, Boston, they're awesome. Boston's always got it, but it's still.
Watch what happens against Boston and Florida. Watch the Me and Jesse podcast. They're going to get annihilated by Florida.
Boston's going to get Florida's good.
Florida's going to put it on them. And I'll tell you right now, I don't like Boston either, but it was weird to root for them because my wife's a Montreal Canadiens fan who absolutely despises Boston.
But the lesser of 2 evils in that one.
Yes, correct.
Yeah.
So the second Toronto won, I want Boston to get ruined, and I think Florida's going to mull them over. So
yeah, I think so too. Yeah. But the Stars Avalanche, that's gonna be a great series.
Awesome.
Hurricanes Rangers will be good.
Yeah. Rangers already up
1-0 in that one.
Yeah.
And then the Oilers Canucks is like an interesting one. It could get a blowout-y, but I don't know. It's a weird one.
Well, they lost all 4 games during the regular season. Then it was funny because someone told me today that Winnipeg beat Colorado every game, and then they blew them out, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know what's going on, but most people are favoring the Oilers to win this series, and I'm like, really?
I would say they're. Yeah, I would say they're.
Would you?
Man, it's tough. I would say they're favorites. I don't know if it's huge, but I would say they probably are. The Canucks to me still, they were great this year. There's no question, and they're playing amazing. I don't know. They're losing. Losing your top 2 goalies doesn't help. But
no, they got to win the first game though, Jesse. Oilers have to win the first game in Vancouver on Wednesday.
Yeah,
they have to. They have to.
Yeah, that would be really big, obviously, to do that.
Because losing
you want to
during the regular season,
you want to at least split that first 2 games,
especially when you lost the other 4 during the regular season.
Yeah, you want to get one under your belt. Yeah, that's true.
You got to get one.
Yeah, that's true. And the first one, because if you lose the first one, then you're gripping your stick a little tighter in the second one. That's
right.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point. That first game is really big. The first game in Vancouver's really big. The first game in Edmonton's really big. Those 2 games are going to be pivotal for this series.
100%.
But yeah, well, until next time. We're creeping up on May 24th. It's going to be here before we know it.
Yes, sir. And also, guys, don't forget our lovely sponsors at Crystal Glass. Your clear choice for all your glass needs. Call 310 Glass or go to crystalglass.ca today. And of course, guys, Backscape and Backscape 2.0. Listen, I'm telling you, you got to go to backscape.com and check out the 2.0 version. Listen, I'm going to say this. It's sexy. Back hair's not sexy, but the 2.0 Backscape is very sexy.
Yeah. And head over. They just had our 2nd anniversary for Backscape, May 4th. May the 4th be with you. But
Cinco de Mayo, right? No, the day before.
Day before. Yeah.
That's how we'll remember it. The day before Cinco de Mayo.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Well, everybody, thanks so much for watching. Thanks, Vlad, for joining us. Until next time, that's Mark. I'm Jesse. This has been the Me and Jesse podcast. See you next time, everybody. Have a good night.
Thanks for watching the Me and Jesse podcast. Follow us at facebook.com/meandjesse.